Hello and welcome to the We All Follow podcast. My name is Matt Fox. I'm your host. You can find me on X at Big Match Pro AFC. Today we will be continuing our Euro 2024 Germany series with our illustrious guests, starting with Nigel. Welcome back, Nigel. Great to see you, bud.
Nice. Great to see you again, Matt.
Awesome. Dobbo, who has finally sobered up after his holiday.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm ready for some more podcasts. But yeah, hello. Thanks for having me again.
Glad to have you back, Dobbo. And we have a new person on the show, Matt. You can find him on X at AFC Matt X. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thank you for having me, Matt. I appreciate it. What's up?
Of course, buddy. It's good to have you on. So today, boys, we are here to, after you guys follow us on X at We All Follow Pod, we are here to discuss the Euro 2024 final, which will be taking place at the Olympia Stadion in Berlin. I think, if my memory serves me correct, it has a capacity of about 75,000 for this match. So it's going to be a full house. And of course, we have Spain against England as the final match of the Euros. So let's take a few minutes. Let's chat about the semifinals themselves. We can talk about the Spain France one first, and then we'll get into the illustrious victory by your very own England team. But let's hop into the Spain France game. Nigel, what was your take on that one?
I mean, you probably remember I had France to win 2-1 or 2-0. 2-0 I had France to win. I didn't think Spain
2
would
0
score.
if I remember correctly.
I thought that France would defend better than they did. Can William Sleeper cannot take any blame for these two goals at all. First goal, oh my God. Adrian Rabiot, Theo Hernandez just get blown away. Yamal cuts in, bang, top corner. And then straight away, literally minutes later, Olmo again, past Rabiot, past Theo Hernandez, in, bang, goal. I mean, they gave it as a Jules Koundé own goal at first, but I mean, it was great work by Olmo. But France, for the most part, from conceding that second goal all the way to full time, it was all France. It looked like France were going to get another goal. France were getting an equaliser. Apart from if Kylian Mbappe's got the ball at his feet, I don't know what wage Real Madrid are going to pay him. But one thing's for certain: if he plays like he has in this Euros, he's going to be jettisoned out of there so quick because he's been terrible. And I'd captained him in my Euro fantasy. Well, that was a silly idea. On the 86th minute, he's got the ball. He's one-on-one with the defender. I think it was Nacho who was one-on-one with. Cuts inside, and you think he's just going to curl the right footer, Thierry Henry style, bottom corner. And he's put it into Rosette. He's second-guessed himself. He's thought, do you think I'm going to go that way? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip it back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and whip it in the near post. And it's straight under it, gone over the ball. And that's the last chance they had. And they started off so well. First 10, 12 minutes, I thought, hey, France are on it today. They're going to get going. But then they made some really, really weird subs. They took way too long to bring. I said it at first. I said at the start they should have played Olivier Giroud as a target man, and you could tell all the way through that game they were dying for a target man. They waited so late before they brought Giroud on, and the other one was I didn't get him taking N'Golo Kante off. The best two players for France for this entire Euros, without a shadow of a doubt, was N'Golo Kante and William Saliba. And that's it. Everyone else, pretty average. I mean, Mike Magnan's not really had anything to do. Jules Koundé's not been bad. But yeah, them two have stood out by a long way. Everyone else has been meh. Chouameni is not done bad next to Kante, but yeah, it was a bit. I think France let themselves down, to be honest, and it actually gives me hope for the final because I actually think that we might be a lot more equipped than France.
Matt, what did you think about that game? What was your takeaways from the match? You know, obviously they had the early goal right after 9 minutes with the Mbappe cross, which I thought was crazy because I was watching it with a young friend of mine, and I was like, "There's no way he's gonna cross from there," because he had two guys like standing right in front of him, and then he whips it in between them to the back post on a like perfect. Um, so you know, the start of the game, it started quick. It started in France's favor. How do you? What were your thoughts about how it played out?
Look, I think the first goal, I can't believe a 16-year-old can, do that at like a Euros. It's just crazy to me. It was a fantastic goal. What a curler, by the way. Like he's just a step above everyone else on that pitch, like genuinely. And the second goal, the technique, it was like Bergkamp-esque. He just flicked it that way, and then slotted down. I can't believe that they originally gave it as an own goal, because how can you look at that and see that that's like an own goal that he was clearly on target? But I thought the goals were superb, and yeah, the Knights kind of just summed it up perfectly in that from the goals, it was literally all France, and they just missed chance after chance after chance. And I think Mbappe has to come under massive criticism because he's supposed to be that starlight of France, and he, failed miserably.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you on that. It was it's a moment's game, and the goals were scored early in the first half, right? Dobbo, you had the second Spain goal coming in the 25th minute, and so you have a lot of game time left to make some chances. What did you think about France's response after that second goal and moving into the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think there was a kind of mix. I think that one thing that Spain did well on the whole um, was their game management was very good, but they've got those players that can do that. They've got those players with the experience that when they need to just slow down a game, settle down a game, keep control of the ball, they've got so many technically gifted players that at one point, I think as well, like what Nigel said, is taking off Kante. It disrupted the shape of France and their press. And that's why Spain were able to control that game so easily as soon as Kante went off, was because the shape that France had was just not effective against the way that Spain were kind of passing the ball around. And when you've got a team that are just hogging possession and you want to press and you want to get tight to your man, Kante is that man that you want on the pitch running around like a dog, because he does that dirty work and he does it better than most people in world football. So I think it's like you say, it's a game of moments. I think that Spain got it right in the moments, France got it wrong, and also I think that France, in the moments that they did have, because they did have a few chances, but they just weren't decisive enough. They weren't decisive enough, and I think that's got to be the key for England against Spain on Sunday for the final. They've got to be decisive, and they can't let that kind of game management state kind of get into Spain's position. But yeah, I think that overall Spain were the better team and deserved to go through. And I think that's just because Spain handled the occasion better, and they responded to the challenge when France went ahead, because everyone thought, I kind of sat up and thought, okay, France scored early. This is where the big teams, the heavy hitters, this is where they arrive in these moments and they stand up. But France didn't really do that, and Spain responded really well. And I think it's going to be a great game on Sunday, and credit to Spain. They deserve to go through, and here they are.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was a good match, and I honestly thought, because the goals came so early, that there would be more of them. I thought, when you have three goals in 25 minutes, you kind of expect to see some more action later on. But Spain did well enough to defend throughout the rest of the match, and but yeah, that Lamine Yamal goal was sensational. It was. I was literally screaming like a stuck pig when it went in, because I was like, "There's no way," and he hits it. And it's like in the FIFA game when they put the little targets on the corner, and like he just like smashed the target. It's like absolutely ridiculous. But let's move on to the other semifinal, which was Netherlands 1 England 2. Nigel, you were in the bar watching with the lads. What was the environment like? What was the feeling like? What was the energy like at the bar when you were watching the game?
And energy was high, man. Energy was high. I'll tell you what. I don't think I've ever watched an England game. We're losing 1-0 after 9 minutes, and literally when they've scored, I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered at all that they scored, and then I think we'll get an equaliser. I mean, fortuitous equaliser. Don't get me wrong. It was it a penalty? I think it was a penalty, but it's one of them where you don't get it given all the time. But then I heard someone say if that was a foul on a striker on a defender outside the box, it's given 10 times out of 10. I think they're right. But yeah, energy was good. I thought our team played excellent. It's the best I've played, and you look at that game, and then you look at the France game, and I think we did everything what France didn't do. We didn't panic when it came to subs. When we were trailing in the game, we didn't panic. We kept doing what we were doing. I thought Saka was immense. Everything in that first half. People saying, "Oh, Foden had a great first half." No. Every time Saka got that ball, and when you're in the bar and the volume's on super loud and stuff like that, you could hear in the bar when Saka got the ball, the entire crowd in the stadium lifted. You could hear them excited as soon as he got the ball. People in the bar were doing the same. As soon as he got the ball, they expected him to do something straight away. And he set the tempo. And people saying, "Oh, yeah, Ake had it." No, he didn't. Saka was choosing what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. And I thought he was great. I thought Deck was a bit unlucky for the goal, to be fair. For their goal, he took a little bit of a trip off Xavi Simons. Don't get me wrong. You can't really get yourself. He got his body positioned in the wrong place, and that left him open, really. But I thought second half, I thought we were great again. The Netherlands changed their shape. It meant that we couldn't really play through some of the gaps what we'd found in the first half. But we found a way. And the reason why we found a way is because we didn't panic. Southgate did not panic. Southgate thought, right, let's put Luke Shaw at left back. Let's keep doing what we're doing. But then it all changed when he took Phil Foden off. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on Phil Foden, but every time he gets subbed off, we score.
Why do you think that is, Matt?
I mean, jinx or something like that, because the team just gels together properly. Like, we all just start playing better when he's off the pitch, and that may seem quite unfair, but like, in all honesty, I don't think Foden should be starting for England. I don't think he should. I think it should be Jude Bellingham and Cole Palmer, because Foden he's had about 40 games for England, and like, he's nearly got more children than he does England goals, and I just think Cole Palmer would be more effective starting than Phil Foden, and that game, just like, Southgate deserves quite a bit of praise, especially for the substitutions. I didn't think he was going to bring on Luke Shaw at halftime. He's not that type of coach to, make substitutions, like exactly halfway through a game. He usually makes them at around the 80, 70-minute mark. So the fact that he brought on Luke Shaw, I like that. And I think Luke Shaw should start. He should start on Sunday, because he's just a far better left back than Trippier. Like, Trippier is a right back. He's not a left back. And I think that is where we might have a massive advantage. In that left hand side looks to be more solid now if Luke Shaw plays there on Sunday. But yeah, I thought Saka had a brilliant game. Like, he would have had like 2 assists in that game if Harry Kane was in his striking position, which is in the box, that sort of poacher position, as you like, and he's just not there. He's just like Declan Rice is like is further ahead than Kane, and I don't understand why Kane's position is that, because I feel like he's also holding back the team.
Yeah, I think that's been kind of a bit of a refrain in terms of Kane being the player who needs to be benched, who won't be benched, and like, is Kane going to be England's Ronaldo, like the guy who they play in spite of it all, and he ends up effing the team over? So far, it hasn't. They've been able to make it through in spite of his, um, I wouldn't even say deficiencies, but my gut feeling is that he's injured because he doesn't look the same as he normally looks, right? And you could say that's like age or pace or whatever, but he's never been particularly quick, but he's moved differently over the last few years. And so I just have a feeling that he's carrying something. But Dabo, did you think that they were going to come back when that first goal, like the challenge on Rice was fair? That doesn't happen to Declan Rice very often, right? Getting dispossessed in that manner, and he kind of slid and hit it and pinged into the corner. But what was your like immediate reaction when that goal went in?
Yeah, obviously it's disappointing, isn't it, to go behind so early in a game of football, especially in a semi-final of the European competition. But at the same time, when you kind of look outside the kind of scope of just the moment, you've still got it was the 6th minute. You have 84 minutes plus a bit more time for stoppages to do something about it. And the fact that we had started pretty well for them first 5 minutes, it was pretty much the Netherlands' first kind of positive moment in the game they got a goal from. And it was just one of those wonder strikes as well. It was a superb finish from Xavi Simons. So credit to him. He was sharp. He took it off Rice's toes. I think Rice could have done a little bit better, but at the same time, there was a little bit of a trip. So it was one of those kind of 50-50s that he just came out worse on, and that doesn't really happen very often to Declan Rice. But when they kind of panned to the images of the England players, they looked calm. They looked very calm. And there's players in that team that are winners, serial winners. And they've got the belief because they know that within this tournament itself, within the knockout rounds, we've not actually led a game in terms of going ahead first. We've not actually started a game leading, and we've not led in 90 minutes until that Ollie Watkins winner against the Netherlands, because we were 1-1 against Switzerland, which we came from behind Slovakia. We scored a last-minute equaliser, then won it in extra time. So I think we'd been in that position again several times already in the tournament. So there was no panic. We had a lot of time. And I think within kind of the first couple of minutes after that goal, it was almost like you believed we were going to score, because the way we responded straight away, we were straight back on the front foot. And those first 45 minutes were easily the best by England in this tournament. And it's that sort of thing that I expected France to do in their semi-final against Spain, is when the kind of real deep parts of the tournament come and you've not played the best football, you've not kind of set the world alight like you expect. That's where you kind of rise up and you start to build that momentum and things start to click. And it happened for England. And hopefully they can kind of go that one step further against Spain on Sunday. But yeah, very happy. And the response by England was very good. So if that same situation happens against Spain, we've got that resilience. We've got that belief that we'll keep going until the end.
Look, I think it just showed that the mindset of the players, because like I almost feel like that we won't do well against Spain if we go a goal up. Like if we score early, I feel like Southgate's going to panic and he's going to be like, let's try and defend this lead rather than, risk an attack and, potentially either score or concede. And I just feel like we really need to not score first because we just crumble.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that.
I know, but we just
But you've got to remember
honestly.
As well, we've learned from the early parts of this tournament, and Southgate will Italy, that final will be ripe in his memory. We scored in the 2nd minute and we sat back and we let Italy back into the game. If we had stepped on their necks, we would have won that game 3-0, because at the end of the day, we had the capability to do it. We had the capability to really put it on Italy and to kind of wipe the floor with them, but we let them back into it. And that won't happen again. These players won't let that happen again. It's not just about the manager. There's a lot of these players that were in that squad for the Euro 2020 final. and they know what it is, and they know how to respond this time. So I don't think there's any problems whether we go ahead first or we go behind. I think the belief will still be there, and we'll play the way that we want to play. We'll try and impose ourselves on the game. And I think Spain is the sort of opponent that you will probably get a little bit more space than some of the other teams that we've faced so far in the knockouts, because of the way they like to play. They like to play open, expansive football, try and hit you on the counter attack. They've got pacey players that can really hurt you. So we need to do our thing, play our game, and whatever happens, happens.
Quick question: did you guys think it was a pen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
50-50.
like black and white in the rules, it is a pen. His studs were up, and he caught Kane after Kane connected with the ball. But I could see at the same time, if it wasn't given, I could see why it wouldn't have been given. But like Nigel said earlier, if it had been anywhere on the pitch in any other situation, the ref calls for a foul 10 times out of 10. So why is it not a foul just because it's in the penalty area?
That's my
Yeah.
argument as to when people say that that's not a penalty, is that just anywhere else on the pitch, it's a foul.
Yeah, it's a foul, so it's penalty. Like, just when you're saying, Matt, please be careful. If you're saying that we want Spain to score first, before we start digging into this game, why don't you go on Google and have a look how many times more than 2 goals have been scored in a Euros final? More than 2
He's
goals.
actually going right now.
No, I'm not.
More than 2 goals, trust me. It's
Okay.
don't happen, mate. So if they score first, it looks like we're going to draw. If we score, it looks like we draw 1-1. It goes to penalties. Do we want penalties again? No.
I mean,
I
you know, as
thought
a
actually
young
it was
Bukayo
in the
Saka
future.
says.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So I thought our strongest chance of lifting that trophy is by penalties. And I say that because we've got 5 penalty takers that are just incredible. Like Saka, Palmer, Tony, Jude Bellingham, who was the other? Trent. Like, those 5 penalties were brilliant. And also, we've got a keeper that saves penalties. I'm not sure Spain have that.
Yeah, but do you want it to go down to a lottery? Because I know that there are statistics and
Not really.
things that you can do to help it, but I'd much rather get the job done in 90 minutes or 120 minutes, because you've got 90 minutes or 120 minutes to actually do the things that you need to do. And if you've not done it over that time, you're leaving it to chance of the shootout. I know that we're probably in a better position if we get into a shootout in the final than we were 3 years ago in the final. But at the same time, I don't know if I could take
Do you
it.
think we can get it done
I mean,
in 90 minutes?
Let's be
Absolutely.
clear.
Of course.
I don't think the odds are. It's like a coin flip, typically, right? Like penalty shootouts are a coin flip. So
just for going, just for you, Matt. So just so you know, so what I mean, I've got a vague inkling of 86 World Cup. So there was in my lifetime, right? In 84, France won 2-0 against Spain. So 1984, so 40 years ago, France won 2-0 against Spain. 4 years later, I can remember this because one of the greatest ever goals scored in world football, Marco van Basten scored the second goal against Soviet Union, past the best goalkeeper in the world at the time, Rinat Datsiev. Netherlands won 2-0. Netherlands won 2-0 against Soviet Union. He hit a volley from near enough the byline, straight in the far top corner. Unbelievable. 4 years later, Denmark beat Germany 2-0. All right. Germany then won Euro 96. They scored a golden goal. Golden goals don't exist anymore, but the golden goal against Czech Republic, so it's 2-1. It's still a draw. France, 4 years later, beat Italy by a golden goal, 2-1, right? And that was David Trezeguet, set up by Thierry Henry. Greece beat Portugal 1-0. Spain beat Germany 1-0. Then in Poland, Ukraine, Spain hammered Italy 4-0. So I'll give you that one, all right? Portugal won 1-0 against France. Italy beat us on penalties. We drew 1-1. So when you're saying let them score first,
But are you
No.
scared that, like, if we go a goal
No,
up,
no,
Southgate will sit back? Or
No.
He's
will
still got to
tell
go.
the players to sit back?
Matt. 4 years ago, he got his hands burnt by being defensive, and I don't think he'd make the same mistake. And I think we've seen that in this. I
mean, one thing that
you
you can say a lot of things about Gareth Southgate, and I think most of them are true. But one thing you can't say about him is that he doesn't learn from his mistakes, and I think he's shown that throughout his tenure. Generally, he learns from his mistakes, and I think even in this tournament, he's been learning from his mistakes and adjusting and making decisions differently than he has in the past. So
This
you know,
tournament, I've seen a very different Southgate in that the squad he picked, I didn't expect the likes of Mainu, Wharton in there, and then how he's approached the tournament. I mean, I don't agree with the play style still because I still think it is very boring. But he gets the job done at the end of the day, and I think that's the one thing you can't criticize Southgate is in major, tournament football. He does get the job done. Like he's reached 3-4 semi-finals and 2 finals now, and I think he just needs a bit more praise.
You'll learn at some point that tournament football is not about performance; it's all about the result. And if you look at the winners who've won World Cups, Euros, Copa Americas, AFCONs, very, very rarely is it the entertainer. Very, very often it's a team who wins 1-0, 1-0, drawn 1-1, won 2-1. Yeah. No flair, no thrills. Argentina, when they won the World Cup in Qatar, was that thrilling apart from the final? No. They were abject. They were poor. They didn't get beat by Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
beat by Saudi Arabia, didn't they? Yeah. And sneaking past teams 1-0. It happens. Greece won the Euros, and they were the most
their
boring
games
team.
were they won 2-1 against Portugal. They drew Spain. They lost 2-1 to Russia. They beat France in the quarterfinals 1-0. They beat Czech Republic in the semis 1-0 after extra time, and then they pulled out the miracle in the final. That was actually my first Euros.
Denmark did the same in '92.
Denmark did the same. I mean, Denmark were that boring and that anti-football. So they'd score a goal, and they were that anti-football that they changed the entire rules of football because of what Denmark did. They brought in the pass-back rule. Because Schmeichel would just hold onto the ball, roll it out to one of the defenders. He would turn around, pretend to play it that he's going to play it forward, and then instead just turn around and pass it back to Schmeichel. And Schmeichel would then hold it in his hands.
Who would pick it up?
They were that boring that they changed the rules. So let's just understand, it's not about performance.
And that's the other part of it is it's a final, right? Like you guys saw how Arsenal prepared for the Community Shield, right? And that's a final. Mikel calls it a final, right? And it's one of those times where you pick a team for your life, right? Who's the team that you pick for your life, right? And if you're the manager, are you picking Ollie Watkins or are you picking Harry Kane in a game for your life, right?
I'm picking Harry Kane. I'm sorry.
You're picking Harry Kane. He has the body of work, and you whatever we need to do to strap him up and shoot him with whatever painkillers that we need to get him through 75 minutes, then hopefully we're in a position that he's made some magic happen in that time, and then you bring on the guys after. But you're not doing it. You're not going to bring on Harry Kane at 75 minutes to impact the game.
No, but and I might could get ridiculed for this, but I'd play the 3-4-3 what we played in the semi-final. I think it works best. It's the best formation for us. I would start Shaw on the left.
Yeah.
I would start Saka on the right of that 4. I'd stick with the back 3 what we had, which was Stones, Walker, and Guehi. I think Guehi is player of the tournament for England.
He's been our best.
I think he's been brilliant.
Do you think Shaw will do better against against Yamal than Trippier would
Oh
do?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he plays on
but-
his preferred position. Trippier's not a left back.
Yeah.
My
But-
only
but
concern
he-
about that is in terms of Shaw's fitness, right? Like,
No,
do you think
I-
he doesn't have 120 minutes in his legs?
I
Yeah,
think-
but
I
he's
think
got what,
he'll be
60,
all right.
75 minutes, and that you'd rather take the first 60, 75 minutes and then bring Trippier on when the legs aren't quite as fresh in terms of Yamal. And I think the problem with that as well is it's very predictable where Trippier is going to go because he has the bias that he wants to switch back onto his right foot, whereas Luke Shaw can go inside still with his left, but he can also play it down the line and take it down the line with his left foot. So you kind of take that bias away from it. And I think that in terms of dealing with Yamal, especially with a back three behind him, I think he's definitely more equipped.
I was going to say that my big controversial bit is I dropped Kobe Mainoo.
I said this to Terry on the terrace, and he slated me. He said it was the worst take in football history.
He's and I wouldn't drop him because I don't think that he is good enough. I think he's very, very good. But I'd play Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I would have.
And
What
Oh, my
Chelsea did
days.
against Man
What?
City. Look at the system that Chelsea played against Man City, and Conor Gallagher took Rodri out of the game both times.
He removed him completely.
3-4-3. They played 3-4-3, and they put Conor Gallagher on Rodri, and twice he's took him out. And you look at Rice's record against Rodri as well. Rice has got a good record against Rodri, and I just think that let me just get this right. I think Mainoo is a brilliant player, but he's not a 6, and he's not an 8, and he's not a 10. He's somewhere in between all three, and he doesn't have money. He doesn't have many forward passes. He has a lot of backward passes, but he's got good one-touch layoffs and stuff like that. But we don't need that in this game. What we need in this game is we need someone who's going to sit on Rodri and not let Rodri dictate the game. And in that instance, you want Conor Gallagher to do it. And so I'd stick. I agree with what Matt said before. I'd drop forward and I'd play Palmer and Bellingham behind Kane, and then I'd play Saka and Shaw as my wide players, Gallagher and Rice in the middle, and then the back three of Guehi, Stones, and Walker. But I think Mainoo would be my first change. If we're losing, he'd be the first change because he might get us ticking a little bit more. Your second change would be Foden. Your third change would be to take Kane off and put another striker on, or you leave Kane on and put another striker up. In that case, but yeah, and one last thing on it. When people are saying about when you say you pick your team for who can defend for your life, or you put your life on it, there's a reason why. When it's the 88th, 89th minute, Bukayo Saka's still on that pitch. There's a reason why he's on that pitch. There's a reason why Phil Foden's walked off. There's a reason why Bellingham's still on. There's a reason why Saka's still on. They're game winners. They are the people who Southgate says he only needs that 1 second bang change. And Mikel's the same. It's a reason why Arteta don't. It's a reason why Arteta don't bring Saka off, because he always knows that at some point Bukayo could just go poof, flick the switch, bang, goal. And only the best in the world can flip that switch, and he's one of the best.
Dobbo, looking at the other side with the Spain team, how does Spain win this game? What do they do that's going to win this?
I think that defensively, their defenders have to be very, very solid, and I think that in the defensive transition, they need to make sure that at all times their shape is right. Because I think if there's one thing, their back four definitely isn't the strongest in this tournament in terms of pound for pound who we've got in attack as well. So I definitely think that in the attacking sense, England can get at them. So I think defensively they've got to be strong, but I think the midfield battle is so key here, and that's why you've got to take players like Rodri out of the game, because if they kind of get into that state where they're controlling the game, you can't get the ball, it becomes very, very difficult for you no matter what the scoreline is, because you just can't get the ball. You tire yourself out, you can't impose yourself on the game, And every single time you build up a bit of momentum, they can just suck it straight back out of you. So I think for Spain, it's about winning that midfield battle, being strong in the defence. And they've got players in the offensive transition. When you look at their wingers, Jamal and Nico Williams, that can really, really hurt you, especially Alvaro Morata. I don't think he's the best finisher in the world. I don't think he's the most lethal player in the world. But one thing he is good at is almost kind of like Kai Havertz. He's putting himself in the right places. He's making the right runs, taking players off him. So I think that they've got the offensive capability to hurt England as well. But I think it's just about making it stick. And I think that the same goes for England. We've got to be defensively sharp. We've got to win the midfield battle. And we've got to make sure that our attacking transitions, we actually convert them and are a bit more successful than and ruthless than France was, because that's what ultimately lost them the game against Spain. But for me, I think the most key thing is that midfield battle, because whoever dictates the game will be able to impose themselves, impose their game plan, and will probably likely come out the winner.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think from the Spain perspective? Like, if you were coaching Spain, what would your game plan be to make the most out of the players you had and attack England?
Sort of get the ball to their wide players, because they're very, very threatening and creative. Like, Jamal already has a goal and 3 assists in this tournament, and Nico Williams is very, very dangerous. You know, his speed, he's very dangerous. And so I think the wide players could hurt England.
Okay, fair enough. Nigel, what do you think? From looking at the Spanish team, where do you think they're gonna prioritize to try to win this one?
Balls in the box. Balls in the box. If they can get down the side of us, Walker versus Williams could be the new Bolt versus Gatlin sprint off, couldn't it? But if they get down the side of us, the only thing what I don't think John Stones did well is aerial defensive in the box. And if they can get the ball wide early and get around the back of us, if Morata, who's very, very clever, is very good movement, if Morata can get a yard on either Stones or Guerre, especially Stones, I think we could be in for a long day, because if he starts getting on the end of some crosses, he's a good finisher and he'll punish us. They'll punish us. And even if it's not him, first time, if that ball's falling around the edge of the box and you've got Olmo or Fabian Ruiz running onto it, we're going to be in trouble. So we need Rice. We need Rice to be able to handle Ruiz, and we need whoever the other midfielder is to sit on Rodri. But Spain's big. I think if Spain get hold of the ball and start passing it around, I don't think it'll phase us. I think we're pretty content for them to have the ball if we can stay compact. But if Spain start passing it around at pace on the transition, getting wide and around us, I think that's where the bigger threat is. If they get around the back of us, we could be in trouble.
Would you consider, Nigel, if you were Spain's manager, to let England have the ball and play on the counter?
Yeah, I would. I think that's what Ronald Koeman thought would be a good idea, was to give us the ball, and then for them to hit us on the counter. It worked once, but it didn't work after that. We handled Depay and Simons much better after the goal. I think it was a bit of a mistake, wasn't it? But they gave us the ball because they didn't think. I believe that they thought that we couldn't play through them, and we did. We played through them dead easy, and so they had to then change their formation. They had to change the midfield, didn't they? So they brought Veerman on for Depay. They had to quickly change it. I think Spain might think, you know what? Let's let them have the ball. We'll defend, and then we'll hit them with pace on the counter. And if they did, it would go massively against what Spain have done for a long time, because they've always wanted to have the ball and be the protagonist. But yeah, I could see them doing that. I don't think we're strong enough at the back. I don't think we're strong enough defensively, Spain.
Yeah, that was my question. Do you think that they have the center backs to weather that storm?
It's not the centre backs. It's not the centre backs. Saka must be sat in his hotel room right now, and every time he shuts his eyes, he just sees himself waltzing past Mark Cucurella. Yeah, and if I'm Luke Shaw or Phil Foden, whoever on the left, I'm looking at Danny Carvajal and I'm thinking, you're a walking yellow card, mate. I'm going to have some fun here. I don't think the centre backs, Lenormand and Laporte, are good enough to handle Kane and Bellingham. I don't. And so, yeah, I can see England. I see England scoring. It's just a case of, can we stop Spain from scoring?
Well, with that note, let's do predictions. So, Dobbo, you look like you're ready to give a good prediction. Okay, so I want scoreline and scores.
Go on then, Dobbo. Come on.
I think it'll be 1-1 in full time.
You maniac.
And I think that Dani Olmo will score again for Spain. I think that Phil Foden will score for England. And then I think John Stones will score the winner, assisted by Saka in extra time.
What an unlikely
Right.
goal scorer.
It always is, though. It always is.
Yeah.
It was a centre back that got Italy back in it in the final. Shaw scored the first goal, so I'm going wild. I just think that something about John Stones. I can see him getting on the back of a cross from Bukayo Saka.
All right, Nigel, what you got, Mister? There's only one goals in finals.
I've got England 1, Spain 0.
Oh,
Goal scorer?
Harry Kane,
Ooh, Kane.
Golden Boot winner.
I can't
How
believe
many goals?
he could potentially win the Golden Boot.
4 goals.
Golden
yeah.
Boot with 4 goals, and he will be assisted by Nigel boy Bukayo Saka.
All right. Matt, what you got for me, bud?
Look, I think it's going to be 1-1 at full time. I think it will stay 1-1 until penalties, and I think England will win penalties. And I want to say Saka would be the 5th penalty taker to win it.
He went third last time.
He did go third, for the record. He did go
Oh
third.
yeah. No, he did go third, but I think in the final, maybe he puts him on 5th because of he can handle that pressure now.
But then again, Saka, I feel like Saka will score his penalty, and that third penalty is so pivotal because it either gets you back in it if you've missed one, or it puts you ahead if they've missed one. So it's that kind of the middle is so key.
I won't change the order.
I think we'll take.
I won't change the order. If you've got the same 5 players on the pitch, it's the same 5 takers.
No, you'll have, yeah. And I think that they would make the substitutions in the last few minutes of extra time in order to get those players back on the field. But I have it 2-1 England. I think it will be Bukayo Saka with 1 goal. And as I predicted before the last game, Declan Rice screamer. I think he's going to get his screamer. I think it will be the all Arsenal Euros.
Arsenal carried England.
Carrying England. So that's what I got. Yeah, and it could be extra time. I think that Saka one could come in extra time depending on how the game plays out. But I do anticipate a Rice screamer and one of these, and it should be a good one. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys here shortly after the game, and there's also going to be the Copa America final as well. That'll be taking place on Sunday, later on Sunday. So that should be a fun one as well. And
Colombia won that.
Colombia and Argentina. So you're going for Colombia on that one.
To be fair, Colombia are on some immense run at the moment.
James
Like, it's
Rodriguez.
crazy.
2014 World Cup-esque. I'm telling you, he's rolling it back.
You didn't just call him James. It's James.
James.
I was waiting for him to finish talking before I.
Yeah. James Rodriguez. I think Colombia win. I think Colombia win. I think they'll win easy. I think it'll be 2 or 3-1.
Do you think Rodriguez will score?
He'll either score or he'll assist. But I think that Colombia win easy.
Fabulous
yeah,
tournament.
I think we've deserved it as well. They've played well. I mean, they even got into a
Yeah,
fight with the Uruguayans.
yeah, I know that was crazy. It's one of those situations where it is really hard to go back to back in any of these tournaments, you know what I mean? And to win the Copa America and then to go to the World Cup and win it as well. And then to try to come back and win another one. You know, obviously it's Argentina, so the quality they have across the pitch is really high, and I think that they have the players. But you know, all of these tournaments, it's the moments, it's the vibes, it's the how the teams are playing together, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Colombia to pull through and get the win on that one. So
Hey,
it'll be a big day for football.
When we're on about the Euro final anyway, so just so you know, I was that confident in England, but this week I've played my limitless card. So I've changed my entire team out and I'm fielding 8 England players.
Oh my God.
I'm fielding 8 England players and I've captained Bukayo Saka.
All right.
So
well, let's leave it there for today. Join us in the Discord, the We All Follow Discord. The link is going to be in the description of this video. Thanks for hopping on, boys. Great to talk to you, and hopefully we can talk again after the trophy is on its way back to England. Thanks again.